Hello and welcome back to the channel. Mijn naam is VIGGY en ik maak reviews of Yiddish. Heutige Video gaat me reviewen van de channel Drew Binsky. Is een traveler. Is schon gewesen in jede country of der Welt. Von de geringste Plätze zu gehen zu de schwerste. Hat über 3 Millionen Followers. Hat een video wie is reingekommen in de jiddische community. In de video heißt Entering America's Most Religious Community. Let's get into it.
The Hasidic Jews of Brooklyn, New York are the most religious and closed-off community in America. What is Hasidism to you?
So it's very vibrant.
Oh, woont Eichlers.
Community, second and third generation post-Holocaust.
Arguably one of the
Kijk, wie hat das herangemacht? Bestein.
most fundamental religions, period.
Oh.
On the
Jens geween de Wisnitzer hebben in het Israël, kweren hebben.
This community is a wonderful community because there's a lot of nice people here.
the whole
Oh, is ook het, ik denk niet dat noemen jetzt. Is ook het een stukje traveler geween in Irak met Liepen. En is ook het een stukje online influencer.
system of how we relate to God and how we interact with God.
I'm about to walk into an exclusive
Drew is ook het Yid. So, zijn is also wie is een outsider. Is een outsider, but is ook het Yid.
synagogue here, and I'm pretty nervous.
Show me Shabbos.
The stakes are very high for
Hoe gaat het met dat stramel?
outsiders to be here, but I'm about to cross into this controversial bubble to discover the untold truth, which will leave
Very
you
baby.
speechless.
Can you not record this part?
Okay, you can't record this. Ik meine, werd een beetje zie.
It's gonna be a disaster with cameras.
Disaster.
We're gonna try.
Excuse me, I'm in a rush. I have an appointment.
I never thought I would feel intimidated by my own religion.
Wow, weiß ich, intimidated. Sie do cameras und sie will nicht reden zu ihm. Eigene Community, geht mit der Stoffenet, geht mit der Biberit.
The security
The music macht das sehr intens.
everywhere now in this neighborhood. Pretty intense street, very, very religious. Everybody on their flip phones because they don't use internet. 100% of the women over 18 years old are wearing wigs. What are you supposed to think or believe in this moment?
So that's a really good question.
Growing up Jewish, I've always enjoyed connecting with other Jews around the world.
So, was macht also, wer weiß nicht, was man darf? Hat aber Mitzvah gehabt. Macht sich ein bisschen dumm.
Like I've done in Ethiopia, Afghanistan, the Philippines, and Yemen. I consider myself very lucky to be part of a religion that has only 15 million members, but has such a profound impact on global society. That being said, I've always been extra curious about the Hasidic Jews of New York because they seem to be different both physically and mentally from the rest of us. The Hasidism movement started just 250 years ago in Ukraine and spread to the United States right after the Holocaust. The way that Hasidic Jews dress themselves and curate their lifestyles will leave you stunned, from their big furry hats and long beards to their lack of using the internet and smartphones. Their strong commitment to family, tradition, and strict Jewish law is remarkable.
Just funny enough, was the Koisel, if you get what I'm saying.
But let's back up a bit. Not all Jews are Hasidic. In fact, Hasidics make up only 5% of the total Jewish population. There are 3 other movements of Judaism: Reformed, Conservative, and Orthodox, and all of these communities can be found scattered around New York City. I started my
The background music is Yiddish.
adventure by popping into a Jewish restaurant in Washington Heights, Manhattan, which is a local hangout spot for modern Orthodox teenagers studying Torah at the well-known Yeshiva University. Is it mostly Jews that come here?
Mostly, yeah. We have a bunch of teachers and people from around the neighborhood that come also, and some regulars.
Bissl Booker.
Chicken shawarma, so it's homemade. We make it every day with fresh chicken. We cut up ourselves the chicken, spice it
Ken in
up,
of the voice as I came from Israel.
stack it,
That looks
and cook it. Yeah. It's
you
almost
from
caramelized.
Israel or New
No, I'm
York?
from France. I grew up in
Oh, man, ich gemeint, ich bin von Israel. Alright. Ich habe gejudged.
France.
I thought I heard
Accent,
something.
yeah.
You're French Jew.
Yeah.
I don't meet that many French Jews.
Yeah, I know. My workers are the best. Literally, like, really amazing workers.
It's Israeli food, though.
You speak like you're Israeli. You speak.
I know.
It's a little bit of the French
Exactly. Redt wie ein Israeli. So, ich bin nicht schon ganz allein auf dem Schiff.
mixed
It's,
in there.
after all these years working in the Israeli restaurant, I think it literally imprinted me with the Israeli accent. I'm from Chile.
I've never met a Chilean Jew in my entire life. Do you feel like you belong here, like with the Jews and the community?
I believe the community here is amazing. I believe that all Jews belong in Israel.
That is pretty tasty. Everything in a shawarma that I would ever possibly want, including eggplant, is in here. Very flavorful, very delicious.
Go in that building over there. That's like the big yeshiva, and you have like hundreds of kids studying together.
Really? Tell me about this community as a Jew.
This is what we call a modern Orthodox Jewish neighborhood. A little more takes like modern inventions and technology and incorporates it into Jewish life, as opposed to a Hasidic neighborhood, which may not do so.
What do you think about Hasidic neighborhoods?
They're not like any more Jewish than us, they're not any less Jewish, we're all Jews, and like the way, like their teachings are amazing, and like it's not really for everyone, but the people who it's for, like it works for a lot of people for thousands and thousands of years, so...
It's 250 years.
It's a really beautiful thing.
I happen to be Chabad.
It's different.
Chabad is a totally, and they're different Hasidic groups.
But you guys have no beef with each other. It's all Judaism.
They tend to be a little bit more insular, and for their reasons, from their
I mean, there used to be beef, let's be honest.
religious perspective, they're trying to protect, what they're doing, and they don't want the world to necessarily influence them. I mean, there have been conflicts, I'm not going to lie.
But like
Exactly.
you wouldn't go there and they wouldn't come here, put it that way.
Yeshiva University is a little bit controversial in that sense, like the Satmar Chassid would not.
Because a Satmar Chassid wollte nicht herausgegangen lernen anything else. So, wo soll gehen? Offert nicht gut nicht.
Old of Yeshiva University, they don't go to secular college, they don't go to secular university.
It's really cool to see Hebrew writing all over the walls. Like, I can actually sound it out, but I don't know what it means. Now that I've got a good feel for the...
Can sound it out, but weiß nicht, was meint. We feel the pain.
Modern Orthodox life in Manhattan, I'm hopping in a cab to the ultra-conservative Hasidic community in Brooklyn called South Williamsburg. Unlike other Jewish communities, most Hasidics rarely, if ever, leave the boundaries of their district. Everything from schools, hospitals, and supermarkets to hardware stores, internet cafes, and bookstores are all found within walking distance.
Internet cafe? What am I missing? Ik ben in Williamsburg voor 2 uur gaan checken internet cafés.
It is very much a bubble, and it's intimidating to enter because A, I'm not Hasidic, and B, I'll be meeting up with Abby Stein, who comes from Williamsburg but was canceled by her parents and her family for coming out as transgender.
No way. Are you serious? Wat hier gecancelled? Was is rausgekommen als een Idol? Doesn't it make sense? Closed inner community, will nicht oben mit der outside Welt. Can. Ich meine, es bringt ein bisschen the wrong image. Gleich geistert zu der number 10. Zu der Vater sagt. But hey.
The first person who was raised in a Hasidic community in the 250 years of the Hasidic community's existence to have come out publicly. The worst thing that happened to me when I've come back here has been people screaming, and once people threw an egg.
Threw an egg at you. I'm going in with...
Geworfen Eier. Keiner soll nicht gehen zu der Corner und nehmen Eier und werfen. Okay? Keiner soll nicht gehen zu dem Truck. Willst du Eier und werfen.
Open mind and a willingness to learn more about this unique culture while being extra careful on how I use my camera. Hi!
Ich weiß nicht, es ist extra careful zu nutzen der Kamera. Macht das Sound, wie es ist du Police, Special Religious Police, was geht kommen unhackende Beine für nutzen der Kamera. I just think it's a bit over dramatic.
Hi! How are you? Good to meet you. Finally. You grew up like here.
My parents still live about 10 minutes walking from here.
As we cross the border into Hasidic Williamsburg from the hipster part of town, I'm noticing the people's outfits and street signs immediately starting to change. It's literally separated by a single street, Broadway, with the subway screeching right above our heads. Clearly it's pouring rain outside. We're doing our best right now.
So this is literally, Broadway was always the border, and that's very important. We're like on it right now, and you'll see in a minute. There's like 2 blocks maybe that are kind of like a mix. This is Yiddish. It looks like Hebrew, but it's Yiddish.
Yeah, it looks like Hebrew.
Almost everyone here speaks Yiddish at home. But this is a hat store, so they sell Hasidic hats.
The furry hats are just one of the many ways that Hasidic men stand out from the rest of us. Another way is by having payas, or long hair on the side of their heads. Women, on the other hand, dress very conservatively, always covering their shoulders and knees, and they also wear wigs to protect the public from seeing their true identity. Women are also seen on the streets taking care of their kids, of which having 10 or more is considered normal. They reproduce a lot. There's a lot of kids in each family, so you can see the pediatrics office right there. The line is so long for kids to go see a doctor. If I owned a business here, I would open up a stroller shop.
I have 12 siblings. That's very common here. People have huge families.
Wow.
We get married extremely young. I was married at 18.
Marriage in Hasidic families is of utmost importance. It typically happens at a very young age and involves the entire community. And believe me, the ceremonies are pretty awesome.
This doesn't look like a wedding. I'm just saying, this is Mera Tish, a rabbi's table. Just genitzt andere B-rolls.
One of my favorite things about being Jewish is the food, and Abby is eager to take me to one of her favorite childhood restaurants called Gottlieb's.
And Gottlieb's made it in. Gottlieb's is like so we have magnet for the outside people to come in to taste Yiddishkeit.
That all food around here is kosher, which is a strict eating code that Hasidic, Orthodox, and many other Jews follow. It's kind of similar to halal food for Muslims, in that animals must be slaughtered a certain way to be able to eat them. All forms of pork are forbidden, and you cannot mix meat and dairy. In the 1930s, there were over 1,500 kosher delis in New York, but nowadays that number has dwindled down to about 20 as the Jews have spread around America. Gottlieb's has been a lifeline for Williamsburg Hasidic community since opening its doors 62 years ago, and the cuisine is all derived from Eastern Europe. All right, we've made it.
Okay, should I show you?
Yeah,
Give you
go
a
ahead.
rundown?
Go ahead, give me a rundown.
Rice, potatoes, mashed potatoes. Very common, very Eastern European, as you can see.
It is
here.
very Eastern European.
There's two kinds of goulash. You got sesame chicken, that's very popular with that. So that's actually one of my favorites.
Oh, goulash, beef stew. Guy, check out my video, making beef stew. Just saying.
Everything here. This is also amazing.
Ooh.
Stuffed cabbage. It's one of my favorite things as a child. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 6 kinds of kugels just here, and it's not even Friday.
I'm into
Chicken
everything,
nuggets,
so
it's all amazing.
You want to just order for me?
Oh, there's soup.
Yeah, I want to see the soup. Oh my God, it's a lot of soups, my friend.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. That's my favorite. Those are the noodles. Amazing. It's not showing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chicken vegetable, everything in it. Then there's something over here. Chicken gizzards.
What's your favorite?
All of them.
All of them. That's a good answer. Hij kijkt ons ganz heftig, as they say.
He's being very nice.
Can I ask you a question about payas? Have you had that your whole life?
Yeah, of course, since I was 3.
Since you were 3?
Yes.
But for you, it's been normal your whole life?
Of course. And for my kids as well. And I have my 8th boy. I'm gonna make payas now on Sukkot, before Sukkot.
Your 8th boy?
8th boy.
How many boys do you have?
I have 8 boys.
And girls?
1 girl.
9 kinderen, wow.
Are you always this busy?
I'm always busy, but I'm missing one guy is making a wedding tonight, one of my guys. One of my guys.
One of my guys.
Hello,
How are you?
Got a picture from me?
I would love to, yeah. What's your name?
My name is AB Baby.
Where are you from?
AB baby. This is Alt Williamsburg. I always say Williamsburg hat gemacht Geschmacke Menschen. Geschmacke Jiden. Sie do Geschmacke Jiden in Williamsburg.
I'm a Willy boy.
Really?
A Willy boy.
Do you like the restaurant?
Of course, who doesn't like this restaurant? This community is a wonderful community because there's a lot of nice people here. Look at Yitzchak. Take a look, Yitzchak.
Look at Yitzchak. Wie is Yitzchak
Take a
cool?
look, Menashe.
Yeah, he likes cameras.
Could you find such a guy like him?
So life is good here.
Life is great, especially when I meet you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
These two, they're kids.
they're
When he
kids.
said that guys, mechitzen means that their kids are married to each other. As a community, you're quite close. Along with the men.
Like any other community, just saying.
What is this?
Wow.
You know what it is?
It's all in Hebrew. It's a Torah.
Okay, it's the
It's all Hebrew, it's all the Torah.
blessings you make after eating. I think we're both just getting, the two of us just put it
Matzo ball
down.
soup? I haven't had
Oh,
matzo ball
this
soup
soup is
in a
amazing.
long time.
Well, if you come on Friday, I will make
It's
some.
also like a rainy day, so it's even
It's
even
perfect.
better.
It's like a fall day.
Feels like a home-cooked meal. This looks extremely Eastern European, almost like you would find in Ukraine or Poland. Steaming off the top right there. It's filled with meat, cabbage, onions. It's
My grandmother was from
Kraut, gefilte kraut. Not stuffed cabbage. It's a stuffed cabbage, but it's a krot.
Muslims, you put rice in it as well.
Oh, yeah, there is rice in there.
Oh, there's rice there.
It's so good. And it's pretty filling, too, because it has rice and... It's like a soup.
It has a starch and a protein.
It's like a soup and a dumpling. What is this one?
That's sesame chicken.
Okay.
I'll have some of that as well.
Yeah, please. Dig in.
Sesame chicken doesn't have anything to do with our culture.
This is like Asian style, no?
Exactly.
Well, this is very interesting. So I have learned recently that there's a lot of overlap between Hasidic food and Asian food. And I think the reason for that is actually food developed out of poverty. And they made use, that's why you get the gizzards, which are very popular.
Chicken hearts. They eat that in the Philippines.
This is the kochlish, because it's very similar to gnocchi, kind of like the pasta, but it doesn't really have a...
It's not cheese. It's like...
No.
There's nothing dairy here. Oh, I should have pointed out.
Oh, yeah.
There's absolutely nothing dairy here. You can't mix.
So this is
a meat restaurant.
This is a typical cuisine of Williamsburg.
Yeah, meat.
Well, this is a fantastic meal. Thank you for taking me here. No. I'm concluding this part of the... Don't worry, it's all going to get eaten. She's a Jewish mother. Let's eat.
The only real way to insult me is by not eating food.
What?
Thank you so much, sir.
All right, that was...
Dankeschön. Bitteschön.
Zagezen.
Oh, thank you, Dankeschön.
Be well.
Be well.
Be well, Zagezen.
Zagezen.
Nein, geschmackig, man.
Uh,
As soon as I walked outside the door
baby.
of that restaurant, I could start to feel the culture sinking in as Abby and I walked the streets. All eyes were on us, and I felt a lot.
I don't think it was all eyes on you. I really think it was a lot to do that you had Abby Stein, controversial person that went from being a rabbi's kid to a rabbi's daughter into an insular community. So I don't really think that everybody was looking at you. Because in Williamsburg, they're pretty used to seeing outside people. They might be not mixing. It's not Monroe that is not really mixing. Williamsburg is pretty not crazy mixing, but I don't think people, they live next to the projects. So I just think it's Abby Stein there.
A lot of pressure to keep my camera down because it's clear that people here do not want to be filmed.
Don't record this.
Okay. So I'm going to ask some people on the street right now if they want to be interviewed. Hi.
Why would they want to be interviewed? It's an insular community.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
The only people who accepted to be interviewed were non-Jews, and it was pretty interesting to hear their perspectives on the Hasidics.
If there wasn't here, it would be another ghetto. But I feel the tension between us all my life. I went to school here, but it's peaceful. If they weren't here, then it would be an extension of the ghetto.
How you doing? Hey, come here for a second. What do you think about this community?
I don't consider this to be a religion. I consider this to be a culture. I've been working for them for almost 17 years. And every community, there's bad and good things. Hey, nobody's perfect. The only perfect is the one above. So...
Hey, respect, man, respect. Nice to meet you. I'm feeling
See, once you get to know us, we're not that bad.
There's tension building. The stakes are high. Abby can't be seen. I can't be seen.
I don't think it's him. I think it's Abby. No offense to Abby, but realize that Abby has a lot of weight. A lot of people know her in Williamsburg. It's not every day, especially in this community, like I said, that someone went from a he to a she. You get what I'm saying? So I'm kind of not... I think he went with the wrong person if he didn't want eyes.
Well,
people just have a look.
Can I shoot from the window, from the street?
Well, technically, legally, they can't stop you. So
I know.
Yes, you can.
This is a cinema transferred into a synagogue.
Almost everything about this community fascinates me, but nothing more than their restrictions to use the internet.
It's a gathering to be safe from all the dangers of technology.
She's laughing, but technology is terrible. Not everything about it, but there are terrible parts. I kind of disagree with the idea to not have education about it. I think they're doing it in the wrong way, but I kind of understand, the world is open and you can't really control what they see. And yeah.
So anti-internet.
Anti-technology, which is, that's pseudonym.
And by the way, Abby, if you're going to go in a community, pay respects and cover up. You're, you got to go modest. You're in a modest community. I'm just saying.
For the internet.
This place is called Cubicles, and it's literally kosher internet. So basically...
you go in, you pay per hour, or half hour, whatever.
Like an internet cafe in other countries.
Yes, an internet cafe, and you get filtered or / kosher version of the internet.
So it's like North Korea.
No, it's not like North Korea. And I'm not saying it's, I'm necessarily on that side that it should be that way, but it's not North Korea. Maybe it's North.
Yeah, very much.
I'm gonna go in.
Try to go in.
Would you hold this? I was not wanted in there. Let's go.
No, nobody wants to show themselves using the internet when you have kids in the school. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong. It's just that's the fact.
What did they tell you?
No, they just saw my camera and they're like, what are you filming? Let's go. I'm fully Jewish.
And I'm guessing it's more of a place where you could order stuff online, fill out forms. If you need a passport or a doctor or something online, you can go and check it out. I switched to English because I think the outside world needs to hear a different version.
Bar mitzvah, everything. Last name is very Jewish, but I'm not welcomed in this community, which is very fascinating.
I was told as a child that in school by my teachers that walking into a Reformed temple is worse than going into a church. And you have to realize going into a church is a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Going into a Reformed temple is even worse.
It's so interesting that all these shops are mostly food.
You will see later a lot of children's stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of children, a huge percentage of the community of children.
Yeah, because
Well, if everybody has 10 kids, they got to dress them.
there's so many kids. You said people have 10, 15 kids.
My parents have 13 kids, and it's on the bigger end, but it's not crazy large.
13 is not crazy to you?
You have 10 grandkids and you're not even that old.
No, you don't have to be old to get married at 18. You have a child every year. By the time you are 38, your son is already getting married. When you're 40, he has 2 kids and two grandkids.
So it's normal to have 20 grandkids.
20 is a joke. My father
20 is a joke.
has hundreds.
We are now entering the heart of Hasidic Williamsburg.
Okay, let me rephrase. We've been in the heart the whole time, but until now we were in a part that also had government housing.
Okay.
So it ends up being a lot of people who are not Hasidic. From the BQE until...
I feel like that Abby is trying to take away the show from him. That's what I feel like. Because I know she's very comfortable with camera. She's an influencer. She's out there. I mean, that's her job. That's how she makes a living.
Flushing Avenue, 100% of the people living here are Hasidic people.
This way.
This is a sofer. They write the Torah scrolls by hand.
Oh, cool.
The Torah is a compilation of the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, and it's written in a long scroll that all Jewish temples or synagogues have inside them. The Torah represents the totality of Jewish teaching, culture, and practice.
Oh, the Mrs. Rabbi.
As instructed by God. When all Jewish people turn 13 years old, boys or girls, they have something called a bar or a bat mitzvah, which is a ceremony where they read a verse in the Torah to officially become an adult and be held accountable for their own actions. My bar mitzvah was on June 12, 2004, and it was a day that I'll never forget.
You have a lot of nostalgia here.
I lived there my whole life.
How do you feel like being here right now?
It's very weird for me, actually, because I grew up here. It's a fact. I spent the first 20 years of my life here, but at the same time, I've been out for a long time. I left for many reasons, and ultimately, I came out to my dad with the help of a rabbi and really spent 2 hours trying to talk to my dad in the most respectful and religious way. And his reaction was first to say something extremely sexist of like, why would you do that? Women are worth so much less than men, which is something that is...
Wow.
And then said he was never going to talk to me again. And he hasn't. We're going to turn out to a block that I've not been on for 10 years.
Okay.
And there's 2 very interesting things for me in there. There's the synagogue where my dad is the rabbi, the synagogue that is run by my dad. And then a bit for...
I feel like he should have split up this video, should have made 2 videos. One, somebody coming out as a female that used to be a male in the Jewish community, and to get an idea of her or his eyes, trying to be respectful. And then another video about Hasidic Jews in New York. I think it would have been a whole nother video, different energies, I think he's mixing up 2 different parts, 2 different struggles together.
Further down, there's a synagogue run by my uncle, which was also the synagogue affiliated with an elementary school.
Is this a block?
This is a block.
So your dad's synagogue is on this block?
It's right here.
Oh, it's right here.
Right here. This.
You're not comfortable.
How can you tell?
Okay, this is Abby's dad's synagogue right here. I'm not going to stay here very long, but...
Why could he not stay there long? You see, if he wouldn't go with her, what is the issue that he is there? See what I'm saying? I feel like they're putting together those two things.
I respect you for taking me here. That's bizarre.
So this is a big synagogue. The one
Okay.
coming up.
Yeah.
So this is now the rabbi of this community. Now is my uncle.
Are you comfortable?
No, I'm not. I'm just walking by, and
Okay.
that's about right.
Wow, these synagogues are intense.
It's not intense. It's only intense because you're going with a person that has a lot of weight, a lot of stories, a lot of whatever personal issues with them. You're not going with some random guy walking around explaining to you the city. Then people would be chill. It's Abby with her stories, and then you with your camera. That's like a double whammy.
I never thought I would feel intimidated by my own religion. It's such a weird feeling.
Nobody's
My
intimidating
family
you.
doesn't wear any wigs at all. So all my sisters and my mom and all my aunts and everyone, they shave their hair and then cover their heads with just a scarf.
Wigs. Oh.
No wigs. Wigs are too much.
They shave their head.
Bald. Shave bald on a 000. That's the other part that I think is very important for you to realize. There are some beautiful parts, but I think it all gets wiped away by the fact that people can't choose. For people who want to choose this way of life, I will fight for their right to choose this way of life.
Right.
If that's what they want. But
Right.
the reality is that most people don't have a choice. It's your whole life.
Why is there no Israeli flags?
They're anti-Israel. They're extremely anti-Israel, I was trying to say. This whole community is extremely anti-Israel.
I was shocked to learn that some Hasidics have mixed feelings about Israel. I mean, remember the Yeshiva University student that I just met at the Israeli Grill?
I believe that all Jews belong in Israel.
But Abby is telling me that the anti-Zionist Hasidics are from the Satmar sect, who make up the majority of South Williamsburg. Zionism is a movement for the development and protection of Israel. The Satmars believe that establishing a Jewish state before the arrival of the Messiah is a violation of Jewish law. When will the Messiah come? Who knows? But until then, you will not see a single Israeli flag on these streets.
We all pray every day that we should return to Israel, but a holy one, like one that is we want to see divine power, not some just tanks and missiles.
There's a school bus with Hebrew writing on it that's parked right in front of an actual school. No English, just Hebrew. Look at that security. That looks like I'm in a Islamic country and there's a checkpoint.
Security and...
There is no checkpoint. It's a school that has a security guard outside. It's a big difference.
Well, that's all Jewish place in New York.
In some schools, they have metal detectors.
Yeah, because
Have gone up since Tree of Life,
terrorism.
since Pittsburgh, yeah. No, since the Pittsburgh shooting.
What
Starting your eyes means not looking at people who are not chesmadas, not looking at non-kosher.
So they're gonna help you believe something?
They're going to help you guard your eyes. No, they're going to help you with advice and ideas. They're not trying to convince you to believe. This community is not much into convincing people who don't believe to believe. It's more about people who believe, but like people who struggle, people who sometimes watch porn or like stuff like that, but they believe that it's a problem. They help you.
So they think nobody watches porn here?
No, they know that some people do, and that's exactly what this is for.
How did this community start?
Okay, so the Hasidic movement was founded by actually my direct ancestor. His name is Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer. My father's father's mother's father's father's mother's father founded the movement. I was taught from a very young age.
Wow, that's a pretty good lineage to remember.
To be very proud of it. He lived in a small village called Mezhebish in Ukraine.
Okay.
So the area that's now Ukraine had millions of Hasidic Jews before the Holocaust.
Okay.
The vast majority of them were killed by the Nazis.
So this community was born right after the war?
After the Holocaust, yes.
They came here, they settled here?
In many ways as a result of the Holocaust.
I think it's amazing how these immigrants of Holocaust survivors are still able to practice their traditions in New York, the same way that their ancestors did hundreds of years ago in Eastern Europe.
I wouldn't say it's the same. They have changed a lot, but for the outside perspective, you don't see the differences.
Walking these streets makes me feel like I've entered into a time machine back to the 1800s. It is truly remarkable. Right now, I'm eager to step inside a synagogue and learn from the ways that Hasidics pray, but I'm out of luck in Williamsburg where the strictest rules apply to outsiders.
I kind of think he's taking this way too far. There is strict rules. You can go in. It's just I think your walking partner wasn't the right choice for this video.
Abby tells me about another Hasidic district called Borough Park, where the chances of me entering a synagogue are much higher. As soon as we arrived, I saw one out of the corner of my eye, but Abby chose to hang back with the cameras, so I went in alone with only my iPhone.
And also picked Shomer Shabbos on 13, which is a unique space. Not every shield is the same. Not every synagogue is the same. I mean, it looks the same, but also the type of people that come there, how it's structured.
It's hard to explain the feeling of being in that synagogue, surrounded by Hasidic Jews engaging in their most important duty, prayer. Some might say I'm intruding, but I feel like it's my duty to unlock these stories.
I don't think anybody thinks you're intruding. As long as you're respectful, I don't think so.
For you guys to see with the hopes that we can all appreciate diversity. On that note, I'm heading into a local shop to get myself a yarmulke, a Jewish cap made of cloth and worn by men to honor God above them.
So what we would wear, and what's most common, is this is called a 6 slice. So these are bigger, and they cover more of your head. And then like if you were considered more modern, you would get one of these, which is just
4 slice.
Got it. Smaller, covers less.
Trauma, Kindertrauma, 4 slice, 6 slice.
You think it's too small?
That's perfect. Okay. He says it's perfect.
It feels right. I've worn a lot of kippahs in my day.
Exactly. He's not that foreign from kippahs. He had bar mitzvah. He just doesn't wear one every day.
I've never done this one, so it might take me a second, but let's see.
Remember, he's never done this. And all of a sudden, like a pro.
Keep going.
Beautiful, beautiful. The shofar, everyone. How many shekels? Now do I look a little more respectable?
Now you look like modern Orthodox. Like you get past as a modern Orthodox.
It changes everything. This
changes everything. Specifically this.
Like a baseball cap changes everything. Like a cowboy hat changes everything. And he wore one. He's a Jew. It's not like he's like a redneck and he doesn't fit in or, You see, it's normal. He had a bar mitzvah.
This kind of kippah, it changes everything.
So Abby and I have discovered a ton of magazines all in Yiddish.
This is a weekly newspaper, and there's 3 of these. It's about the same size.
So most people don't have internet, they just use this instead.
And it's big. And then you got so some of these are monthly magazines. Like these are monthly magazines, these are weekly. This is also something that can only exist without the internet.
Well, this looks like...
It's just photos. It's literally just photos.
Like every other newspaper. How could there be video in a newspaper?
It's page 6.
Yiddish is an offshoot of German that was started by Ashkenazi Jews in the 9th century in Central Europe. Sadly, the language was nearly extinct due to the Holocaust, when 6 million Jews were murdered by Nazi Germany from 1941 to 1945. These murders were carried out in pogroms, riots, and mass shootings, as well as forced labor and gas chambers within concentration camps such as Auschwitz, which is the saddest and darkest place that I've ever been in my life. Some 85% of all Jews killed in the Holocaust spoke Yiddish, or roughly 5 million people. And today, that number is a mere 600,000. If you ask me, it is surreal to hear Yiddish being spoken in the United States today. This is like really common. People will just come and buy a magazine and take it home.
We used to buy like one of those newspapers several things every week, yeah.
Look at this. Oh, sorry. How you doing?
True fashion, how he just came in and took a book.
You know what it says inside?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah, wow, that's a typical Hasidische move. En zo kijkt dat zelfs in the outside, by the way. Geblaben doen met Yiddish. Zo kijkt dat zelfs. En wenn man sagt, dass du bist disrespectful, meint man das. Kijkt das zo.
Anything emergency happens, people don't call 911 at all. People always call them. I memorize their number.
Exactly, because they are way quicker. Have you ever tried calling 911?
It's 7183 at 71.
So it's like the ambulance? It's like an emergency
That's what
room.
people call. Yeah, that's what people call.
Is it like a trust issue? Like they want to be with other...
It's a mix of a lot of things. It's a bit mix of trust. It's they usually arrive faster.
Exactly.
They don't charge.
Oh, really? It's free. Okay, now I understand.
It's not only free, it's like a buffer to the outside world. When you're not raised in the outside world, regardless if it's good or not, that's a fact. You don't want to call the police and it gets out of hand. Because once it's in the police, 911, the state, you can't turn back time. You can't turn back the clock. It's way harder. So you have your inside guys, your inner people to help you. Usually community helps you better, right? More power. And if there is a mistake or something, it's easier not to live with the consequences after.
Behind me, there's a Hasidic mother and a Muslim mother next to each other, pushing their kids on the playground. That's cool. What's it like to live in this Hasidic community?
It's rough because it's kind of a closed community.
I kind of know him.
But it's got its beauty, it's got its innocence. It's really different than the whole world, but it's really cool. I'm Hasidic.
I'm sorry,
So
dude.
yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I grew up Hasidic.
So why
this? Because it didn't work for me, obviously. And I went on my own. I went on my own path, my own journey. But there's nothing like home. There's nothing like coming home. And there's a lot of love here. It's an awesome community, but it's definitely got its rougher parts.
Later in the day, I met up with Barry Weber, the most famous Hasidic musician who shared some pretty cool insight about his people.
So the real meaning of the word Hasid, which means someone who does more than what justice demands from you. The movement of Hasidim started off with Rabbi Yisrael Bashem, and the purpose of that is to reveal the presence of godliness into the world. Instead of us always trying to find where the holiness is, you become part of that. Your body is the vessel of your soul.
The sun is getting ready to set, and
Grazie dimension was watching.
Abby wants to take me to a legendary Judaica bookstore from her childhood. It is so impressive how these old-fashioned bookstores are still thriving in this day and age.
I am 99% certain that that's a couple who got married within the last week.
So they're still getting to know each other.
You can tell by the way they're walking apart from each other because for certain halachic reasons, the night after the night of the wedding, you're not allowed to touch for 7 days until they go to the mikveh, and it's a long story. So these are all graphic children's books, all of them in Yiddish, of all kinds.
You're proud of Yiddish.
I'm very proud of Yiddish, but it's like, these things are made today for people who read it.
Is this really the 21st century? CD special for $1.99? I can see through the window that the bookstore is busy and intense, and I'm debating whether or not I should go in with my camera. Luckily, the owner came outside and invited us in to learn about the books and the items that are sold here. Right now I'm in the largest bookstore here. It's fascinating. It's really beautiful in here. We have all different kinds of books, all in Hebrew and Yiddish. It's interesting because they don't have internet on their phone, so they come here to learn, to study, read books, magazines, newspapers, CDs. That's fascinating.
Morty Getz. I grew up in Borough Park. So when I grew up, this is where I spent most of my time. This was always like the book central. It's not a library by the full description of what a library is, but it serves as a sort of library for children.
How would you describe
Maybe that's a good point. Maybe they should open up a library.
Borough Park and this Hasidic community?
So it's a very vibrant community. It's just second and third generation post-Holocaust. So the rebirth is amazing. I think the younger generation is not as aggressive as the first generation, but the first generation felt it as an obligation to the rebirth, 6 million.
verämpft sich. Für wo seine gewähne aggressive. Get credit for the aggressiveness.
And like that, they felt they have to rebuild that.
Do you know the significance of Payas?
Significance of Payas. So the commandment is to leave some here on both sides of the head. That's a biblical and political commandment. It became more of a tradition of having us remember that we're part of this community.
By the way, as he's speaking, you can see the guy behind him having a smartphone. I'm just saying, if he was so intimidated to go in with a camera, there's a Hasidic-looking kid in the back with a smartphone.
So it became more symbolic than the biblical commandment. It became more of a symbol of a dress code.
What's it like to live here?
I love this place. Nobody ever sleeping. It's always stuff going on here.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, 8.
8?
Yeah.
Wow. So you come here to get all your information?
Yes.
For stuff?
I don't think you go there to get your information. If you want a book, like a prayer book, or a Talmudic book, or someone rabbi wrote a book, that's the store you get it, because they don't have Amazon. They do have online everything, but these people don't go online, so traditionally they have to go to a store. So it's a bit...
So these are the shofar collection.
Yes.
Is this from a deer? A ram?
A ram. So This one, people from the Middle East, like Yemen, they have large ones. Ashkenazi Jews mostly have the smaller ones.
Why do Jews blow shofar?
So it's a commandment in the Bible that at the beginning of the year we should blow with the shofar. The Talmud explains it as if to wake up people from the dream once a year, to do tshuva, repent on their sins.
It's a wake-up call.
It's a wake-up call. In those times, that's how people used to, like armies, used to be reminded, like, wake up, so it was a wake-up call.
This video isn't complete until I experience a Shabbat dinner inside of a Hasidic house.
By the way, I don't appreciate him going with a shtrammel. I'm just saying, I feel like it's a bit, it's not customary. Like sometimes when you go to someone's house, a different religion, a different people, and you put on a yarmulke or you put on a headscarf out of respect. I've never seen in my life someone wearing a shtrammel out of respect.
For those who aren't aware, in Judaism, Shabbat is a day of rest that happens every week from sunset on Friday to sunset on Saturday. During Shabbat, it is prohibited to work, to drive a car, to use your phone, and even to turn on the lights during these holy 25 hours. All of the activity takes place at home, talking among family and friends, praying in the synagogue, and eating a massive meal. While I don't keep Shabbat on a regular basis, I do love to participate, and I always enjoy this peaceful day of rest whenever I get the chance. However, filming a Shabbat dinner inside of a Hasidic home is nearly impossible because it...
There is another guy that filmed someone in Pomona. I forgot his name, Anthony. I'm going to put that video in the description below. It is difficult, but there is a chance. You know, you have to warm up the situation before. You can't walk in 2 minutes before Shabbat and say, okay, I'm going to record you. And also, just in general, people that are not used to around cameras become funny or not funny, become, they act weird because there's a camera. It is hard, but you have to put an effort.
Goes against the principles of not working. Let's just say that it took me 4 months to get permission from a rabbi to film the Shabbat dinner that you're about to see. He approved my mission to document in good faith and share the beauty of Hasidic culture only if I do not touch or address the camera beyond sunset. After several failed attempts, my friend Shlomi, who is a fellow traveler and YouTuber about life as a Hasidic Jew, invited me into his own house, which is located outside of the city.
How you doing? Good to see you.
These are my 3 kids.
Hey, how are you?
That's a girl, that's a boy, the baby's a girl. My name is Shlomi Zayans. I was born in Borough Park, Brooklyn, New York.
What is Hasidism to you? What does it mean?
It's a very, very good question, a very deep question. I think Hasidism means a lot of things to a lot of different people. There are some people who are very focused on the inner Hasidism, which I believe is the most important part of it. There was somebody named Yisrael Baal Shem Tov. He lived in the 1700s in Ukraine. He felt that Judaism was getting a little bit dry. People weren't doing Judaism with enough passion. So he reinvented the whole system of how we relate to God and how we interact with God and how Jews live. And many people would say that the Baal Shem Tov and the Hasidic movement saved Ashkenazi Judaism because there were so many people who would have fallen out if not for this new invigoration of life and excitement into the Judaism.
Interesting. I've seen your YouTube channel. You're doing a great job traveling as a Hasidic Jew and what you're learning from it and taking us through your life, which is awesome. Keep it up, by the way.
And by the way, I don't think it takes 4 months to convince him to come for Shabbos if he's a YouTuber, you know, a Hasidic YouTuber showing, you know, life and traveling. I don't think it took 4 months. Maybe to connect it took 4 months, but I kind of feel everything is a bit overly done.
Want to try?
Is that controversial among the community?
I have some very open-minded rabbis who feel that it's important for people to understand what Shabbos is, and therefore, it's not like we're doing this every week. On a one-time basis, we brought people in with special permission from rabbis, and that's what we're doing again this week.
We got permission.
Yeah, and it's very important to say that. So I just want to make it very clear that this Shabbos video that we are going to do today was done with the permission of a rabbi, and anybody who's considering doing anything similar should please talk to their local rabbi to make sure that this can be approved in a way that it goes in accordance with halacha, with Jewish law.
I am about to do tefillin, which is a very special experience in Judaism. I've done it maybe 10 times in my life. I'm following the leader here. He's showing me what to do.
Okay, so first of all, please lift up your left sleeve.
I feel like this is going to be more of a show, you know. Lift up your arm, open your... He knows what to do. He's been doing it more than 10 times in his life. He had a bar mitzvah. Let me remind you again. He had a bar mitzvah. And the thing you do by a bar mitzvah, just like he was on the chair up and down, is you put on tefillin. He maybe didn't continue putting on tefillin, but he kind of knows. But I think it's more of a show to the outside people.
Repeat after me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu, v'tzoso v'tzivanu, l'haniach tefillin.
Tefillin is a prayer that involves a black leather box with leather straps containing scrolls from the Torah.
And then like this.
And then,
this.
yes. And now we got it.
All right.
Okay.
Now, guide me.
So, Shema Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad.
I feel like he's acting a bit he doesn't know. Come on, man.
Now I would just suggest if you want to think about your family, pray for your loved ones, and just have a moment. You can close your eyes, leave them open.
By the way, I like that painting. It says love, L-O-V-E, on the wall. Very nice painting.
Whatever you're comfortable with. By the way, we have to take the obligatory tefillin selfie.
Sure.
We call them telfies. And but I have to tell everyone that I rapped Drew Binsky.
Yeah, of course. Please.
Okay, so.
I have a feeling what's in this box, and I feel like it's a hat.
This is a hat. It's a very special hat. It's called a strammel.
Strammel.
Yeah, strammel.
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 Perfect. This is a hat that Hasidic men wear on Shabbos.
Oh my
They are very expensive. This one, I believe, was...
And also, by the way, when I was a kid, the strammel was this big. Now it's reaching to the skies. So that's also a change that happened. If you look at the old pictures, people were wearing, this is the size, now it's... And now people are putting in highlights even. That is changing. See, from the outside world, you might not see it, but from the inside world, that is a change.
It's $5,500. Legend has it, back in the 1700s, or possibly even earlier in Poland, there was a king or a count or someone in power who told Jews that they couldn't wear fur. But he made one exception. They're allowed to wear fur from a tail, supposedly the lowest, disrespectful, cheapest part. So the Jews went and they made hats completely made out of tails, and beautiful hats. They rock them like this, and every Shabbos, they try to put us down, and we lift ourselves up with a strammel.
So cool, man.
Now, I have one for you, too.
You have one for me.
I'm going to put it on your head.
Yarmulke stays on?
I'm going to crown you. Yarmulke stays on.
Okay.
Yeah.
What animal is it?
I think it's sable.
You only wear this leading up to Shabbat, or do you wear it throughout
No,
the
you
night?
wear it...
Throughout, like...
Yeah, so I make Kiddush, which is the blessing on the wine. I'll wear it. Make Hamaitzi, which is the blessing on the bread. Wear it. A lot of people will wear it for the entire meal. It gets kind of heavy and kind of hot.
Yeah.
So like usually when I start eating soup, that's when my body heats up and then I take it off.
You got a nice little like lean there. Is mine
Yeah,
straight or is
yours is straight.
I kind of like the curve.
I like it too. It's like the hood Hasidic, you know?
We're hood Hasidics.
Okay, give me your right hand.
Yes, sir. Ooh. Now I'm in the Shabbos mode.
Yes, you are.
Wow.
Looking good.
What is this called?
It's called a bekasha.
Bekasha.
Now what's interesting is that it goes right over.
By the way, it's called a tish beketcha because there is a zaden beketcha made out of satin. It's not just a tish. It's not just a beketcha. It's a tish beketcha. People used to wear it by the table. Tish means table. A ganze Sach just thrown in one word.
Over left.
Oh.
Okay. So in Hasidic thought, the right side represents kindness and the left side represents judgment. We always want to have the kindness over the judgment. Make sure that there's more kindness than judgment. So we wear our clothing
Actually, Kamush Gehede, so that's interesting.
right over left.
I like that.
Good night, Shabbos.
I feel like
You
it's
don't have payas, but
it's
because
just
you
a
have the
Tuesday.
beard, you kind of look like a new age modern chassid. If you didn't have a beard, then it would be harder to. Then people would be like, "Who's this guy?" But with the beard, yeah, you could pull it off.
We're talking
No, we
about
cannot
all
pull
these,
it off.
Things that happen on Shabbat, but for those who aren't Jewish or maybe don't know, Shabbat is a time that happens sundown Friday night to sundown Saturday night, so 24-hour period.
25 hours, actually.
25-hour period, every single Friday to Saturday.
No matter what.
For existence, no matter what.
Yeah.
And during Shabbat, it's a time of relaxation, a time of family, and you're not allowed to work.
No cooking, no watering the grass.
No watering.
Like, just chill.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Shabbat should be totally focused on nothing, doing nothing. You just feel the presence of Shabbos.
Can you shower?
No.
Can you shave?
No.
Can you brush your teeth?
No. When you take a toothbrush and you put toothpaste on it, and most people put it under water as well, what's happening is that you're squeezing out water from between the bristles. And you're not allowed to squeeze water out of anything on Shabbos. That's the problem with the teeth. It's not a hygienic thing, it's the water thing. So there's somebody who invented something called a Shabbos toothbrush. Rubber bristles where the water doesn't get converged within the bristles, and then when you use it, you're not squeezing out.
Do you have a Shabbos toothbrush?
I do, yeah.
Okay, good. You travel to all these countries. What if a flight gets canceled on Thursday and rebooked to Friday night? What do you do?
I'm not going to be on that flight. No chance. Only if it's a life or death situation. So God forbid, like if I had medication that could save someone's life at the other end of the world, I'd get on a plane and bring it to them. Anything short of life or death, Shabbos comes first. My baby was born on Shabbos.
Really?
Now, we went to the hospital before Shabbos because my wife was in labor earlier, but if we had to, yeah, we would just get in the car and go to the hospital.
Yeah, you gotta have baby, you gotta have baby.
I mean, you can have a baby at home, but most women aren't into that.
So, it's Shabbat. This is a very meaningful time of the week. Is it usually just your family, or do you have guests come over?
So we actually travel a lot, so like...
Oh, you travel with him?
Some of the time, yeah. Like, if it's like a really dangerous place, then I wouldn't go.
You wouldn't go to Afghanistan or anything?
No, I have 3 kids.
Do you connect with other Jews on the road? Have you done that? Go to like Chabad or any communities?
For sure, we always go to Chabad. I mean, we kind of like rely on
Chabad to the rescue. Chabad spread out all over the world. Literally, they're really spreading goodness.
Chabad. For like
it is a lifeline.
And, like,
I've done the same.
Yeah. Like, they're amazing. They really are. First of all, I hope you're like absolutely starving and did not eat anything today.
I'm pretty hungry.
Okay, good. So we have some baked asparagus, Hasselback.
Wow, that was fantastic.
Some sweet baked chicken, sweet potato pie. We have some rice to go with the fish. This is cholent.
Yep.
Like a beef stew.
Yep, I've had cholent.
Chicken soup, sorry.
Wow.
And here we have the beef
Wow.
lasagna with vegan cheese because we don't do milk and meat together.
Right.
We have a
Vegan cheese. I thought we don't do that because of marasan. Marasan is things that look not good. Like drinking a coffee and eating a steak, even though you have milk that is not like dairy milk or almond milk. We don't do it. So I don't know everything.
teriyaki salmon barbecue ribs.
This is insane.
Wow.
There's an unlimited amount of food here.
Yeah, there's a lot of food.
Some grilled cauliflower, some roasted eggplant and vegetables. And we have hot apple pie and potato kugel.
Wow, you've outdone yourself. Thank you.
And some desserts over there.
I'm kind of speechless.
If someone were to decide to keep Shabbos and it wasn't for religious reasons, food is also a good reason.
Is it always the same dishes?
That's a very good question. So basically what we do is, there are certain traditional dishes that everyone has. We start off with wine, then fresh baked challah bread, then usually people will go fish, soup, and some kind of main dish with side dishes. But you can be kind of like, you can freestyle with what kind of fish.
And this goes without saying, obviously, everything is kosher, always, everything. Kosher is just a certain, it's kind of like halal, Muslim, it's similar.
Yeah, so basically what it is kosher is any animal that is slaughtered. It has to be slaughtered by a rabbi who took specific training to try to eliminate the suffering of the animal while it's being killed. We don't eat milk and meat together. We don't eat pork. We don't eat shellfish. I'm so in it, I never miss anything else. Thank God we're eating very well over here.
We are just seconds away from 5:47 p.m., the exact time when Shabbat begins, which is actually the moment when you can identify 3 stars in the night sky. We are all dressed up in our Shabbat clothes, including Shlomi's lovely kids. You can really begin to feel the spirit in the air. Shabbat officially begins with the women of the house lighting 2 candles, marking the division between light and darkness. From this exact moment onwards, I will not be touching my camera nor addressing it to show my respect to the family. I have hired a non-Jewish camera operator who is present in the room and will be documenting from his camera.
I'm going to bless my children.
When Shabbat starts, it's customary for the man to say a prayer or a blessing to each of his kids, and it's a beautiful sight to witness.
Fly. Wow.
So we're gonna go into the kitchen and wash the bread. Okay. And then we're gonna continue.
Jews always wash each hand twice for ritual purity and actual cleanliness before reciting blessings and reciting Torah. Then they sing.
What am I going to shul? Just totally skip that part? What am I missing? There's a whole community. You go to shul, you sing beautiful songs. All right.
After that, they recite some prayers and take the first sip of wine, which everyone in the room drinks from the same cup. This big fluffy Jewish bread, called challah, always kicks off the Shabbat dinner. Then food keeps on coming. If there's one thing that all Jews have in common, it is feeding you until you cannot breathe.
Nice big glass of wine.
Oh, thanks.
How many days did it take you to cook this? Definitely more than one.
All of yesterday.
All of yesterday? Wow. Drinking alcohol is a big part of every Jewish dinner, and Shabbat is no
Yes.
exception.
L'chaim.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Good job. Cheers.
Cheers.
L'chaim.
There, you're gonna have some water, okay?
By the way, I feel like every other house is the same idea, but vastly, vastly different. With the singing, with the eating, with even types of food. Like he said that people change food. I know people in 30 years, they haven't changed the food. Not saying in a bad way. I'm just saying it's the same fish, the same challah, the same meat, the same vegetables, the same, and it's good. And the singing, I feel like he's pointing only like a very narrow light into this process.
On a regular night at 8 p.m., what would I be doing? Maybe I'd be eating supper with my family, maybe I'd be putting the kids to bed, but I wouldn't have the clarity and peace of mind to just stop everything and be in a moment. When my boss is on my phone, on one phone, there's a second phone where someone else wants me, and everything's just all up in the air. Now, relax, peaceful and relaxing, and just center in on yourself.
The food
That is something that is a plus you get, that you can zone out of the world. Everything is about the four walls, your family, your guest, singing. That is a plus.
kept on coming, but soon after, I cut the cameras out of respect for Shabbat. I ended up staying at Shlomi's house a few hours into the night, and it was a wonderful experience to say the least. As a Jew and someone who has celebrated Shabbat in many countries around the world, I must say that this one was the most special, and I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to take you guys along on my quest to learn all about Hasidic culture.
Oh, by the way, in Shlomo's in Texas. So that's why maybe he didn't go to shul.
The good and the bad. As uncomfortable as it may be to witness how women and LGBT folks are treated by this community, or how sad it is that most kids do not practice speaking English at home, nor have access to
That is a problem about English and education, but I don't want to get into it in this video.
a well-rounded education, it's important to remember where Hasidic Jews come from and how they came to be, which explains why they hold on to a lifestyle that seems so backwards to the rest of us. In many ways, Hasidic Judaism can be looked at as a miracle. For a group of 500,000 Jews who are direct descendants of Holocaust survivors to have such discipline in preserving their...
By the way, that guy that was on the screen now, he should go to him for a meal. And maybe put like a very small camera, like a GoPro, and just let it run out and pick it up after Shabbos, just to see the different variety.
traditions and identity for over 250 years is unbelievable. As the world keeps evolving, I hope that insiders find it in their hearts to be more inclusive, and that outsiders can stomach some respect for the world's most resilient religious community.
Bugaboo carriage. Not so insular, huh?
And for all you guys watching at home, thank you so much for being on this journey with me, and I hope you learned something new about this special culture and Judaism as a whole, my beloved religion. I welcome your thoughts, comments, and heated debates down below. I will actively be reading and responding to as many of them as I can. I love you all, and I'll see you next week.
I kind of feel like that you made two separate videos into one. Eberstein is one. The community is a different one. I think, it's a good video, but a lot of points that I've made in the middle that should be looked at. You should try other people, even in the Jewish community, there's a lot of levels of variety. Even in the same family, some uncles do one way, other uncles do another way. I think you should come back and show that part. But yeah, all right, I'm done with the review. I hope you enjoyed, because ich habe es enjoyed. And like, share, and subscribe. Weiß ich in a longer video. Well, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.